The United Nations building in Geneva had never felt so cold, even with the late afternoon sun streaming through the atrium windows. The chill emanated from the center of the room, a flawless, crystalline table where the future of two species was being decided. The Kallian Sovereignty's chief emissary, Princess Evelith, sat across from the human delegation, her posture a masterpiece of regal control. Her skin, which was not skin at all but a flexible, iridescent biopolymer, pulsed with soft, rhythmic patterns of lilac, the Kallian shade for formal concentration. Beside her, hovering at a respectful distance, was Ethan Rhys, the human linguist. Ethan wasn't a diplomat, he was a specialist in Kallian oral and suboral gestures, kasog, a dialect so complex it required a human ear finely tuned to microvibrations and an eye trained on the subtle, bio-luminescent shifts that communicated true intent. The official Kallian translator, Ambassador Varon, a sleek creature with the hardened gaze of a career politician, handled the public narrative. Ethan handled the truth. The problem was, the truth was being systematically murdered. The humans propose a mutual defense pact, outlining shared fleet deployment near the Andromeda Veil. The lead human delegate, Ambassador Hayes, stated firmly. Evelith responded with a sequence of high, whistling clicks and a deep, resonant hum, her skin shifting to a vibrant, trusting emerald. Ethan's internal neural translator read her statement perfectly. We welcome the joint commitment. Such cooperation will stabilize the region and ensure rapid response to the Cygnian threat. We offer access to our orbital defense network data. This was a powerful, genuine offer of trust, the kind of concession human diplomats had only dreamed of. Then, Varon spoke. His voice was smooth, deep, and utterly false. The Sovereignty acknowledges this gesture. We will review your fleet positions and, if deemed adequate, permit limited access to our sensor network for a period of 3 planetary cycles. This is conditional on your compliance with our specified orbital routes. As Varon spoke, his skin glowed a sickly, entitled yellow, the color of Kallian disdain for less evolved species. Ethan felt a cold dread settle in his stomach. Varon had twisted a handshake into a demand. He had turned an offer of partnership into a temporary, patronizing allowance. The human delegate stiffened. Ambassador Hayes's face darkened. With all respect, Ambassador Varon, that sounds like surveillance, not cooperation. The talk spiraled downward from there. This wasn't the first time. Over the course of the 3 weeks they had been meeting, Varon had managed to sour every genuine olive branch extended by the princess, slowly turning the human delegation hostile. Ethan was trapped. His assignment was strictly to facilitate Evelith's personal understanding of the proceedings and to provide immediate, confidential translation only when she requested it. To contradict the official, sovereign-appointed translator in front of both high councils would be an act of war, a breach of diplomatic integrity that would send the fragile negotiations into freefall and, more importantly, put Ethan's own life in jeopardy. But watching the human suspicion harden, watching the chance for peace evaporate, was killing him. He saw the genuine anxiety radiating off Evelith, the subtle, microscopic tremble in her lower vocal cords that only a kasog specialist would notice. She was terrified of war, both the one looming in space and the political one unfolding right next to her. That evening, away from the watchful eyes of the UN and the Kallian security detail, Evelith summoned Ethan to her temporary quarters. The room was sparse, lit by a soft, cool light that amplified the bioluminescence of her skin. She had dismissed her attendants and stood alone, a figure of isolated power. She spoke, not in the formal kasog of the chambers, but in the low, resonant clicks of the Kallian royal family, a dialect passed down through bloodlines, heavy with emotion and complex poetic nuance. Ethan Rhys, she began, her tone laced with urgency, Varon intends to break this alliance. He is a member of the isolationist faction. He believes we are strong enough to let the humans weaken the Cygnian Empire before we move to conquer both. Her skin pulsed not with lilac or emerald, but a quick, desperate crimson. Ethan translated the words aloud to himself, his mind reeling. I know, Princess. But I cannot override Varon publicly. It will be seen as human interference in your sovereign structure. Evelith approached him slowly. She stopped inches away, and the light radiating from her was warm, intimate, and profoundly sad. I am not asking you to interfere in Kallian matters. I am asking you to be human. Her eyes, large and black as polished obsidian, focused on him. Your species is chaotic, messy, and loud. But you are also fundamentally honest. Varan dismisses honesty as a weakness. He believes your emotionality is easily manipulated. He believes your empathy can be exploited. He underestimates your courage of conviction. She reached out, her three-fingered hand hovering near his own. He is recording every public interaction. He has filters in place to corrupt the data and blame me for the collapse. But he cannot corrupt the raw feed from my personal environmental logger. It captures every sound, every frequency, every suboral gesture I emit. It is the pure truth. She pressed a thin, almost invisible data chip into the palm of his hand. It felt impossibly fragile. You are the only one who can translate the pure feed, Ethan. Your gift is your defense. Find the moment Varan's lie is exposed most plainly. Release it to the UN. Media Council before the final vote tomorrow. Let them hear my true voice. Ethan stared down at the chip, his heart pounding a frantic, human rhythm against his ribs. This was no longer linguistics, it was espionage. It was treason against the sovereignty. But it was also the last chance for peace. He looked up at Princess Evelith, and for the first time, he didn't see a royal emissary. He saw a brave woman fighting her own corrupt government with the only weapon she had left, a dangerous, desperate trust in a stranger from a lesser species. He made his choice instantly. I understand, Princess. I will need access to a dedicated, unmonitored human comms hub. And maybe a very large coffee. He allowed himself a small, nervous smile. Evelith's face, for the briefest, most wonderful second, mirrored his own expression, a tiny ripple of pure, unbridled amusement crossing her lips. The color of her skin shifted to a bright, hopeful gold. Go, Ethan Rhys. Show them what it means to be truly human. He turned and left, the fate of the alliance resting not on the shoulders of generals or presidents, but on a linguist, a tiny data chip, and the profound, beautiful trust of an alien princess.